Hello everyone, my name is Jeff Hogan and welcome back to another Draft Today video. I had a small technical difficulty that made OBS not fire up quite in time to get me to our first pick here, but we got a Righteous Outlaw in our first pack that is a pretty reasonable aggressive card in this format. In the second pack here, we have a couple different choices actually. We've got this Iotachi Cavalry as well as a Consulta Talons and a Shackling Strands here. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Cavalry and pass the Consulta Talons rather than speculating on two different shards here. The biggest problem with taking the Consulta Talons in this pack is that it's passing a Shackling Strands, which is sending the message to the people that I'm passing to that Sapphire is open, which means if I take the Consulta, I'm likely going to get cut from Sapphire in the second pack. Iotachi Cavalry is one of the better Ruby 2 drops in this format. When it becomes Valorous, it can't be blocked by non-Valorous troops, so it essentially becomes unblockable in the mid to late game. So, in addition to being like a 2-2 on the second turn of the game, so I'm really interested in picking that up. We get rewarded by being passed another quality Ruby uncommon here, 3-1 for 2 Flame Guard. Target opposing troop can't block this turn on Diligent, so 10 out of 10 gonna pick that up. Would like if the Boisterous Ballad wheels back around to us, or possibly this Furious Blitzer, but definitely want to pick up this Flame Guard. Other playables in this pack that are very reasonable if you're just starting off are the Monk here is a 3-3 for 3 that Diligences, gets +2/+2 in Spell Shield till next turn. All the wild aggressive decks, this is one of the backbone pieces to it. It's a uncommon that you want to pick fairly highly. Skyspire Scholars, a reasonable Sapphire card, helps those decks come up the board and draw some cards. And then Outflank is a playable Combat Trick and Diamond, but none of these cards really want to compel me to move into a second shard. I have a very playable Ruby uncommon right here. As we look at this next pack here, there's nothing super exciting in these uncommons. Flashbot Trickster I find pretty mediocre on average. It's like okay in the Ruby Sapphire Charges Matters deck, but there's no guarantee that we're moving into that. It's definitely not a card that gives me a reason to want to move into Sapphire. Same thing with Callous Carver, it's just like a fine uncommon. This one's actually pretty good in general. It's a 1/5 for 4 that Diligences to get +4 power and life drain, but at the same time, this isn't a card that compels me to want to move into Blood. There's the Furious Blitzer we mentioned wanting to wheel earlier. I don't think I want to pick this card up just because it's a pretty low pick priority in general, so I want to get something a little bit better out of my fourth pick. Explosive Interlude's like a fine piece of removal. It's a touch expensive at 5, but the fact that it Ardent Allegiance to make a Valor in addition to killing something is pretty reasonable, and dealing 5 damage kills most of the things that you care about in this format, so definitely going to go ahead and pick that up. This pack doesn't have anything super exciting in it. Gallant Duelist is like a pretty mediocre Ruby threat. It's a 3-2 for 4 with speed, and it makes a Valor when it comes into play. I suppose the fact that we have the Iotachi Cavalry makes the Gallant Duelist slightly better, but in general I still don't think this card is very powerful. Chastise is the only really good diamond card in this pack, and this is also one of the best pieces of common removal in this format, and this is a card that I'm willing to kind of move into diamond for. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. The Webborn Apostate is also a pretty reasonable card, but I'm not sure I like it in the Ruby Sapphire deck. I think Chastise is the card I'd rather be on rather than Webborn Apostate, especially when I already have 3 pretty quality 2-drop troops here. And then this pack, I think we're just going to start picking up the Rock Sliders pretty early here. This is an archetype that I've become a big fan of in this limited format. It's a 1/4 for 3 that says whenever you gain a charge, it's +2 power and crush until the end of the turn. So we've already got 3 really good 2-drop Ruby Ardent troops. So we're probably going to move into a Marzul Ardent deck. Marzul is a champion that gives you a charge every time you play an Ardent troop, so it combos with Rock Slider. There's a Cloudbounder in here that's a really powerful Sapphire troop, but 10 out of 10 just going to go ahead and start picking up Rock Sliders and start prioritizing picking up the Charges Matters cards like Rock Slider and Arena Regular, I think. Arena Regular and Rock Slider are the 2 biggest payoff cards in this archetype for sure. As we move to this next pack, Fire Soul Gemsworn is a very reasonable card, especially in Ruby Diamond, because you can give it flight on attack. But I think I'd rather pick up the Arena Regular here. If we're playing the Charges Matters deck, this card is really important to it, and I want to definitely pick that up as opposed to sending the message this archetype could possibly be open to someone else. If we're really lucky, this Fire Soul Gemsworn will wheel, but I won't be too sad if it doesn't, because 5's a little bit expensive. Sort these by costs a little bit here. We're by no means married to this diamond card, but you know, wouldn't be sad to play it. Hoping to see like some Feed the Flames and other things like that. As I said, we're not firmly married to diamond. We get past a Razor Edge Duelist, which is definitely a card that can help push us towards diamond. Just like reasonable 2-drop, and then it diligences into start being a more aggressive threat. So I'm 10 out of 10 going to pick that up. I think it's better than taking a second Explosive Interlude. Usually interludes come around late, so you can pick up another one, and like it's really kind of expensive in terms of removal. So playing more than one is kind of suspect a lot of the time. And yep, here we go. So like I said, these cards come around late. I actually think I'd rather have a Vanquish than a second Explosive Interlude. This card's a little bit cheaper. It also makes a Valor, and it's in another shard that we're in. I think we can pretty firmly say we're going to be in Diamond at this point, but I wouldn't be opposed to pivoting off of Diamond if we see like a Surging Wildfire perhaps in the next pack. I don't think we're fighting with anyone else for Ruby, but it's kind of early to say that for sure. Wow, the Shackling Strands came back around here. That's interesting. This is our original pack, or the second pack, so that means there's only one person in Sapphire at this table, and they're going to be happy to see that come back around. I'm pretty sure I just want this outflank, just like a Mobilize trick that works well with our Flame Guard and our Outlaw and our Duelist. I like Blitz a little bit better than Outflank in these aggressive decks, but I will definitely take an Outflank. I usually like 2 to 3 of these 1-cost Mobilize tricks. They're good in combat and good at just pushing extra damage through. These can protect. This one's actually really good at protecting our troops from removal as well, which is nice. There's the Furious Blitzer coming back around. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. Probably slightly better than the second Outflank. I'd much rather prioritize leaving room for Blitz, and I'm probably going to play this Blitzer. We're also at like theoretically 11 playables, and this is only pack 1, so that's a good sign that we're in shards that are reasonably open, and we should be pretty happy with what we've got going on. We'll definitely make it to pack 3 most likely, and like be looking for strict upgrades, which is a decent place to be. This next pack, we're at the dredge end of the pack here, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Gain Ground. I'm going to take the Giant Centipede. It's the most playable card in this pack. Everything in general there is pretty mediocre. Pretty rare that I play it. I've registered Giant Centipede in Dreadlings decks on more than one occasion, so it seems fine. Yep, nothing super exciting in here. I guess I'll grab a Talon Keep Watcher. I'm almost certainly not playing that card, but you know, we'll see. Got a lot of really good 2-drops right now, right? Like we got 1, 2, we got five quality 2-drops at this point, which is good. Having plays on the second turn of the game is really pretty relevant in this format and something you want to be doing a lot of the time. Again, kind of just like the tail end of the pack here. Enlarge is the only thing that's close to playable in here. It's not in any of our thresholds, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the playable card out of this pack as opposed to something that we're almost certainly not playing. Got 11 playables out of here. Only need, you know, 20 or 12 more playables between 2 more packs here, so hopefully we'll be one of the only people in Ruby, so pack 3 will be super good to us. The power of these Ruby decks is often proportional to the number of Lava Shapers you get in your 3rd pack. I might play a Staunch Resolve, I guess. You can probably put the Flight Gem in here and have it be reasonable. And bombs? Bombs? bombs. Okay, like we got a Chimera bot, I guess. Diligence, choose one at random. This gets 1/1 in flight. This 1/1 in rage. Like, it's no llama herder, but I think this is fine. Memory of the Fallen's also okay in this deck. It's +1/+1 for each Ardent Race among troops you control. We have a Storm Rider here as well. I think I'm just going to go ahead and grab the Chimera bot, though. Just kind of continue on our Diligence theme. Would like to see the Memory or the Storm Rider wheel, perhaps. Wouldn't hate the Explosive Interlude. Canyon Fleet Flip might also be okay, just because of all of the mobilized troops, or the Diligence troops that we have in this deck as well. Hopefully, we are blessed with 1 to 2 more Rock Sliders and 1 to 2 more Arena Regulars in this pack. That would be ideal. Look at this next pack, we get, yeah, this pack's stacked for us, right? Like, there's a Rock Slider here, which I think we're firmly enough into the Rock Slider archetype that I need to prioritize just picking this up. I can't risk it wheeling, even though it's kind of low priority for a lot of people. There's a Blitz in this pack as well that's reasonable, a Mooncall Ceremony, a Chastise, so I'm 10 out of 10 taking the Rock Slider, but I'd really like Blitz, Mooncall, or Chastise to wheel. Other reasonable cards in this pack, Cheap Shot is fine, Necropolis Coins is excellent. Root Shaper is like an interesting Valor card. The Wild Valor decks seem kind of tough to enable in this format, which is why Apprentice Earthcaller is also slightly medium. Cavalry is an uncommon that I just really don't like at all when it becomes Valors. It has Swift Strike, which is like fairly underwhelming stats for its cost. So 10 out of 10. Picking up another Rock Slider though here. And then we get a third Rock Slider, and this deck is just going to slide right off the table. Should have spent more time talking about the cards in the pack. There was a Gallant Spear Knight that I wouldn't mind coming back around. It is double diamond, but, you know, I think that's fine, especially with all the Rockies we have here. Yeah, so now we're just going to prioritize picking up as many Ardent troops as possible. Hopefully our third pack is really good to us. Set 5 is really heavy in Ardent troops. Ruby Diamond Ardent is one of the better archetypes in 5/5 format, so that kind of bleeds over when you're drafting that third pack. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Ardent troops so far. Probably would like 10 to 12 ideally. Trigger these Rock Sliders all over the place. Anytime you get to kick this card up to, you know, 5 on turn 4, you feel pretty good, especially if you had a 2-drop on 2. That's why Outflank and Blitz are very good with Rock Slider as well. Another Iotachi Cavalry. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. Really want to get a couple more cards that make Valors at this point. There's a Blitz in this pack. Would be excited if that or the Outflank wheel at this point. So we got 2 Cavalries. Hopefully we can get, there's a lot of good Valor producers in the third set. Set 5 as well, third pack. We've got Outlaw, Interlude, and Vanquish that make Valor so far, though. Deck's stacking up pretty well. Pretty excited. Now I would 10 out of 10 play another Explosive Interlude with 2 Cavalry here, I think. Or mostly like a light Diamond Splash, but like all the Diamond cards we have are pretty reasonable, so I think we're going to be firmly inside of that. And like I said, we're still well on track to have plenty of playables, so would kind of like more Arena Regulars because they're Ardent troops in addition to having a payoff for our Charges Matter theme. Nothing super exciting in this pack. I think I'm actually going to grab this Wakuna Lookout. It's another Ardent troop for us, and we can actually throw the Valor Gem in this. You can't play it out on the first turn with a Valor Gem in it and make a Valor, but I think it's plenty playable. I mean, who's ever playing Sapphire at this table must be really excited, just like another Shackling Strands going this late, but we definitely want the Lookout out of this pack, I think, since we've got these Cavalries. It's basically just like a build your own 2/2 for 2. Just like has random upside with our like Cavalry and stuff. This is a card that, like, as we get into pack 3, if we have a strong pack 3 for our set 5 pack, this card's going to get upgraded fairly quickly, but for now, the way our deck is shaping up, it's definitely playable. This deck would really love a Forgotten Forge in the third pack. Thornweaver, kind of mediocre. 3/4 for 4. You gain +2 temporary resources for each race among your Ardent troops when it comes into play. I guess this can make really big turn 4 Rock Slider attacks, right? Let's grab it for now, but this card feels like kind of an inconsistent card. Like, I really don't want to draw a 3/4 for 4 late in the game. I'd rather have something a little bit more impressive than that. So we'll grab this, but this is going to be another one of those cards as we move into the third pack. It's going to be something we're looking for strict upgrades on pretty soon. And we grab another explosive interlude here. Yep, that's probably the maximum number of vanquishes and explosive interludes we can play, just because like they are kind of clunky at our top end, but not completely unreasonable. I actually really like Ashwood Minstrel in this deck, which might sound kind of funny coming from the fact that I really don't care for Thornweaver, but I like that Minstrel kind of accelerates us up nicely. You can actually turn 3 Furious Blitzer off of turn 2 Ashwood Minstrel, and I don't think I want another Vanquish in this deck. We already got a lot of top-end clunk, and Minstrel is another Ardent Troop to help trigger our Rock Sliders and our Arena Regulars off of our Marzul power, so... This is a card that, like, if we have a strong third pack, this is another card we're going to be looking to upgrade, but for now I'm going to go ahead and leave it in our playables and see how the rest of this pack shakes out. I think, if I recall, so it's 1925, so we've seen every pack at the table now, so there aren't any more Arena Regulars or Rock Sliders coming. That's fine. We've got, like, 4 Charges Matters payoffs, and Rock Slider's definitely the most important of those, so we'll see which of these cards we can wheel. I would love it if I believe we passed 2 Blitz in the first round of this pack, so I would love it if one or both of those comes back around. I think Memory of the Fallen's probably pretty reasonable. It gets +1/+1 for each Ardent ranks among troops you control. This is kind of like a top-end bomb for our deck. Like, generally these decks want to curve out at like 4 to 5. Like, Interlude's probably going to be the most expensive thing we play. And Memory of the Fallen is neutral, so it's not going to trigger Marzul, but it's definitely a powerful card in this deck. I'm going to go ahead and hide Thornweaver and Wakuna Lookout for now. There's one of the Blitz that we were hoping to wheel, so 10 out of 10 picking that up. This card's just so insane with Rock Slider. Just like, they go to block it with just enough because Rock Slider's got a bunch of power and they don't want to lose too many troops, and then you just like blitz over the top of their guys, crush through for damage, and kill their blocker. It's just like such a savage blowout. Nothing super exciting in here. Man, this Monk is still in this pack. Yeah, I think I'm actually just going to pick that up. Well, you're not going to play against people in your pod guaranteed. A lot of the times your first couple matches are against other people in your pod. I'm just going to go ahead and take cards that are like objectively powerful out of these packs that I really don't care to play against, especially since our main deck is well set. I don't know if I've just been like noticing the Marzul cards more, or if they've been more open recently, but I've been drafting this archetype more often, and I've had moderate success with it. This is the archetype that I played in the first Clash event to an 8-2 finish for top 32. Just none of these cards are particularly exciting. Like I said, we've got 19 playables out of here, so like in theory we need 4 playables in this last pack, and we're almost certainly going to have more than 4 Ruby playables out of our set 5 pack here. Hopefully we get a bunch of good ones. Would love me double Lava Shaper, maybe a Warband Ruffian, Cremate, Burning Hammer, just like all the goodies would be wonderful. Burning Hammer is so good. What are cards we're going to be looking to upgrade here? Probably like the Memory of the Fallen and the Ashwood Minstrel are cards that are just like medium minus. I could see Furious Blitzer not being good enough if we get a strong enough pack 3. I'm recording. Alright, let's get some bombs here. Lava Shapers ho. Let the lava flow. God, that pack's awful for us. That being said, we would 10 out of 10 play this Cremate, but this Might Singer of the Ages is still worth about $7, so I think I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. Ideally, this War Party Guide or this Cremate's going to wheel back around to us, but I like to make sure I draft enough value that when given the option that I can 2-1 and still be profitable, and this will actually just sell it like we can 0-3 this draft. Not that we're going to, but we can 0-3 this draft and be profitable now, which is sweet. This pack's pretty reasonable for us. We got an Ashwood Firebrand here. This is one of the best Ruby commons in set 5, and I think that still holds true here. 10 out of 10, go ahead and pick this up. Mental note that there's a Baby Yeti going around in case we see a Mama. We could possibly live that dream. It's pretty hard to get Baby Mama in a single pack, but it's not impossible. This is also another Valor producer, which is good with our Iotachi Calvaries that we have a pair of. It's actually shaping up pretty well. We've got reasonable removal so far. We've got a couple of good combat tricks. We've got plenty of payoff cards. We've got a bunch of quality 2-drops. Kinda sad we didn't get like one more Blitz or a Blindside, but we'll live so far. Hopefully we hit like a Fire in the Hole and a Hammer in this pack. And again, I just keep talking about Lava Shaper, and we've got six more packs to find one here. Show me the lava. Show me the lava. Show me the lava. Lava, lava. That's really sad. There's no Lava Shaper in this pack either. In fact, most of the uncommons in this pack are fairly mediocre. I don't think we're going to play Intimidating Display. Battlement Spearman is not for a deck that's as aggressive as ours. I'm going to go ahead and grab this Leyline Purifier. I don't think we start a 1-3 for 2 in this deck, but we'll definitely board it in against someone that's playing Constance, I think. Valor Rising. Is this a deck where Valor Rising will put target Valorous troop from your crypt back into play? Huh. How many Valors do I have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's probably not an unreasonable Valor Rising deck. I'm not going to play Crackling Blast. I might play a Wallbuster, just because like you can hit a champion too. I'm going to grab the Valor Rising for now. I'm not sure I want to commit to Valor Rising because it's double diamond, and we don't have any double diamond cards in our deck right now. And like, in fact, we're pretty light on diamond, so this is probably like a 10 ruby 7 diamond deck, which is probably reason enough to not play this, but the other cards in that pack were fairly mediocre as well. So we can just find 3 more playables in this pack. Ideally, 2 of them being Lava Shapers. It's like two days ago we wanted Lava Shapers, didn't see them. Yesterday we didn't need Lava Shapers, we saw them. It's like just the worst beats, right? Alright, Motor Trike Driver, not particularly good here. Dawn Scout's actually pretty good in this format. Like I said, there's a lot of Underworld troops in set 6, so just another reasonable 2-drop. Just like always going to have a turn 2 play into Rock Slider in this deck. Sounds great. This is not an Ardent troop, so it doesn't trigger Marzul, but I actually think this troop is very good in this deck. It's a 2-3 with Flight and Speed for 5, and with Scrounge 2, it gets Rage 2, so this card can close games very quickly on its own. It's just like a nice piece of top end. Generally, you're going to trade off some troops in the early game, so like when you draw this on turn 5 or 6, it just like comes down and deals those final points of damage through. Like, if this goes uncontested, it deals 10 points of damage over 2 turns. Very, very good against the non-Ada decks in the format. And even against the Ada decks a lot of the time, you can be applying enough pressure that they just like won't have Phantoms to block this Rocket Rider when it comes down. Ashwood Transmuter here. Our Lava Shaper Dreams are quickly dying. We only have one more pack that we haven't looked at yet. 10 out of 10 gonna grab this Ashwood Transmuter though. This card's very good. It's a 3-2 for 3. That is one-shot, discard a card, create a random Ruby common, and put it into your hand. Always happy to have that. It's a type of card that in the mid to late game can turn a resource into a random card that's not a resource, so generally worth playing. I feel like we can't be the only one in Ruby in this draft. Like, we haven't really seen any Ruby removal in this pack. And we've got 4 pieces of removal, and we're good and aggressive, so I'm not too worried about it, along with our 2 combat tricks here. But it would have been nice. I feel like we've gotten cut on, like, cremates and fire in the holes and blazing hammers. Like, we've gone through 7 packs now without a hammer, so there must be 1 or 2 other people picking them up. At this pack here, nothing super exciting in here. I could see an argument for taking the Sapper's Wallbuster. We are, like I said, we're touch light on removal. I don't know that we're going to play that in our main deck, though. I don't really think I can situation where I boarded in. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Smoke Claw Raker here. It's objectively the most powerful card, and we'll cut someone off of this who's playing Blood. The Lava Shaper Dream is dead. There's a Dawn Scout here. It's not completely unreasonable. Is Dawn Scout an upgrade for any of the cards we're currently playing? I don't actually know that it is. Yeah, I guess I'm going to take this Crackling Blast because I might board it in against someone that has a lot of bombs and we just like need a 5th piece of removal, but I think we're pretty well set on our 23 playable spells here. We're going to go ahead and just go 10 Ruby, and then 7 Diamond. Like I said, we don't have any double Diamond cards, and we have a couple double Ruby here at our top end. So the resources in this deck should be fairly good because we only have a couple double at the top end. We're primarily Ruby based, and we're going to just hopefully slide all over some people here. Most playable card in this pack is probably the Root Wrangler. Again, not playing anything in here, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick this up. Basically at the dredge end of the pack here. Yep, so I'm not going to make everyone sit through the last few picks here. We've got just these last few things for just picking up at the end of the pack here, grabbing the most playable card without any upgrades for our deck. As always, my name has been Jeff Hoagland. Thanks for hanging out and watching today's Draft Today video. Remember, there are gameplay videos as well today. We're not going to be doing commentary with these, but the footage is there. And then after the end of the 3 sets of matches in this draft, I'll go ahead and do a little wrap-up segment talking about the deck and what worked and what didn't work as we played through. Remember, if you enjoyed the videos, to like them on YouTube and share them on your social media. There are also a couple of the different ways you can support my content. You can subscribe on Twitch for $4.99 a month, or become a patron on Patreon for varying amounts, and there's different rewards for those that are all described in the video description down below. You can also support my content by supporting my sponsor, hexprimal.com. They would love to sell you some Hex TCG singles, so if you are in the market for that, you can use their site and use code Jeff5 to not only save 5% on your order, but also support me here. See you in just a few minutes for some games with the deck.